you understand.
Hey everybody, I'm Tony Jones, and welcome to the Tony Jones Show.
It's not enough. People are willing to take the risk. It's just sort of a herd mentality, a lemming-like mentality. If you don't go with the flow, you're anti-American and therefore a suspect.
The Tony Jones Show, featuring punk, rockabilly, psychobilly, and Providence, Rhode Island's finest, starts right now.
He's a dangerous militia member, I hear. Oh, and there she blows.
Friends, the time for mediocrity in broadcasting is over. My name is Tony Jones, and you are tuned in to the Tony Jones Show, your destination for talk and rock, online at tonyjones.org, facebook.com/Tony Jones Show, on the almighty Twitter at Tony Jones in RI. Of course, I ask you to go to rifreeradio.org for all your web entertainment needs. Thank you for tuning in and hanging out with me as we return here to the Tony Jones Show, kicking things off with some big, bad voodoo daddy spooky madness, the name of that one, and that is because I am already, and I know this will be heresy to a lot of folks listening, especially folks listening in the Rhode Island area, but I am already looking ahead with bated breath to the fall time, and of course specifically Halloween, but fall in general. And as I was inside a local purveyor of groceries earlier today, what did I see out in the aisle, that middle aisle that you stroll down, that middle aisle that you try to keep your wife or your girlfriend or your significant other out of? Yes, I'm talking of the seasonal aisle. What did I see in the seasonal aisle but that of candy corn? Yes, the Halloween candy is out at local grocers, and that made me happy. Now, I didn't want Wilford Brimley to show up and remind me of my diabetes, so I did not get any candy corn, but I was just happy to see the candy corn out there. So, spooky madness for you, Big Bad Voodoo Daddy, right here on the Tony Jones Show. Of course, more horror-themed music to come this week and each and every week here on the Tony Jones Show. Between now and the top of the hour, some of the best local music around. Scanning down the list here. Yes, all local independent music on tap for you. Some of the best around, coming in fast and furious. Go to rifreeradio.org, click on the contact page, or go to tonyjones.org, click on the contact page. Either way, that's how you get music to us. Both DJ Psycho Eddie and I were off last week. We'll talk about that. I can only imagine he has some stories to regale us with. And speaking of DJ Psycho Eddie and I, in 3 weeks' time, we'll both be at the New England Cawhug Festival. I want to talk about that in a bit. And another conversation that I want to have that spreads from a conversation that happened this past Monday night after Tony Jones and the Cretin 3 practice. So hopefully we have time to get to that, because I want to tell you my story, and I also want you all to weigh in, because I can only assume that a lot of people in our listening audience have similar tales of woe. So that's all coming up for you. I know a lot to pack in between now and the top of the hour. The music does continue, because, of course, the Tony Jones Show is all about the music. The little ska theme continues next. Here's a little Brunt of it. This track is Out of Gas. You heard it here on the Tony Jones Show. Coming out of 2 from the VapoRubs right here on the Tony Jones Show. Tony Jones and the Cretin 3 had a chance to play with those guys about a year ago at AS220 in Providence. Take a Beating, the name of that one, and then before that, Safety Van. Then last time we chatted, I brought you into a little Brunt of It. Out of Gas, the name of that track. You were tuned into the Tony Jones Show, Facebook.com/Tony Jones Show. We're on Twitter at Tony Jones in RI. Be sure to go to TonyJones.org and RIFreeRadio.org. I can only hope that you all missed us last week as duty called. We were out of studio, no new program last week, no live broadcast. DJ Psycho Eddie and I both out of town last week, and I don't have much to say about my experience, so I was covering the Newport Folk Festival for another media outlet that I work for, and it was, it was a great weekend, a great folk festival, one of the premier events in Rhode Island, if not one of the premier events on the East Coast. Well run, great weekend all around, and but that's about it, just a straight up good weekend. DJ Psycho Eddie, however, was living more of the rock and roll lifestyle. You were out in the backwoods of Connecticut with many of the pillars of the Rhode Island music scene, and lost some equipment over the weekend, I hear.
Oh, I lost my mind. It was a great event. Now, if you can imagine, they took almost like a double wide trailer frame. They built a bar out of it.
Nice. With
probably if you remember Blazes, the size of the stage at Blazes.
Right, yeah.
This stage was like 3 times that size and a lot more secure. However, they only had a 15-amp circuit running from the guy's house, which was like 250 feet away. So you have the hum of 4 10,000-watt generators in the background.
Sounds like a bad techno song.
Oh, no, this is actually really good because the speaker stack from top to bottom was about 8 feet tall.
Damn.
Four sets of subs, 4 sets of full range, double 15 full range. And when you look from the stage and you looked out, you can see almost, I want to say about a quarter of a mile. That's how far out people were camping.
Wow.
It was all mowed field. It wasn't like, let's try to squeeze.
Yeah.
It was like almost like a campground, except without any electricity amenities. Or
how was the toilet situation?
Well, you see, you had 3 options. Gotta pee, find a tree.
So there's a third option.
It's better to bear the shame than to bear the pain. You could either find a tree. They had outhouses, but I did the calculations, and for me to wipe my backside, I would have to open the door. Third option, which the one I opted for, was there is the truck stop as you look off 95 coming into Connecticut. Mm-hmm. That truck stop was approximately 3 miles away.
Okay, that's not too bad.
You could make that in a couple of minutes.
Unless you're squeezing cheeks.
Oh, no, I actually was. It was the morning constitutional squeezing cheeks, doing about 60 down these back roads in North Stonington to make it to the truck stop and try to walk in. And the guy looks at you and he knows you're just going to do damage when you go in there.
Yeah.
But, that was the bathroom situation. The music situation was phenomenal. 17 bands played.
Wow.
Gemello, one of the bands I've never heard of before. I've never seen them perform. They actually put on a hell of a set. Mm-hmm. Carpathia was the first time I've actually caught them live, and I'm almost embarrassed to say that. They put on a hell of a show. Joint Damage did an awesome set. Apollo's Resurrection, who I'm going to do a shameless plug. I'm going to start my show off with them because they put on an awesome show. And, of course, the camaraderie, because now you're hanging out with about 350 to 400 of your closest friends in the woods on private property. It kind of smelled like there were skunks nearby, but none were seen.
Now, and I can assume it's a little bit like like we talk about with the conventions, where it's people that you don't really get to see and hang out with every day.
Oh, exactly.
Just a few times a year.
For me to sit, actually get out of the DJ booth and like hang out with people, it's a rare occasion. But I was able to actually walk around, talk to people. People were coming up to me. It wasn't a show. It was everyone was just hanging out and doing a little bit of entertaining. As far as the carnage, however, from Friday night into Saturday, the wind had picked up considerably. Enough so where I used to have a 12 by 12 tent with walls. So
if you've seen us at Paracon or at Providence Flea, you've seen this tent.
Exactly. Well, you're not going to see it anymore. Now, I had 4 about 30, 35-pound sandbags, one on each corner, to hold this thing down. The wind was enough to flip the tent in the air over a Suburban, land in front of the Suburban without touching it, snapped all 4 legs off as it landed.
Now, were you in the shelter at this time, or was it later in the day?
I would no. It was. That's actually what woke me up. Because here I am. I got the back.
Talk about having to get to the bathroom.
I got the back of the truck open into the tent. So I hear the wind coming. I hear the tent bouncing a little. And it was just like something out of a movie. You just hear a thump. And there I am. Now, I luckily, normally I sleep au naturel, but I knew there were going to be people around, so I left a pair of shorts on. And next thing you know, I'm just looking out the back of my truck at people. It's like, wait a minute.
He pulled a Red Hot Chili Peppers. He was wearing one sock.
It was a rude wake up. It was like, oh crap. Now, I'm recovering from the partying from the night before, and I did make an announcement, which I'm sure I've told you off the air, but as of September 9th, I'm done DJing.
Yeah.
So, everyone had to do a shot with me that night. So needless to say, I was a mess by the time I went to bed.
And you're like me. If you're out at an event and someone is kind enough to offer you a shot or a free beer, I can't be rude.
You can't say no.
Far be it from me to not accept. So
it would be rude not to accept.
Exactly. I was grown up with manners.
I'm a good Christian.
Now, making his return to the Tony Jones Show for either the 3rd or 4th time, I can't remember, speaking of taking all those shots, is Mike Worm, who earlier today I reminded everybody, in my opinion, is one of the hardest working promoters in punk rock right now. Mike, glad you could make it down.
Hey, thank you, man. Thanks for the kind words.
I know it's quite a trek. So you have a big show coming up on August 25th, the reunion of Honest John happening at the C Note. Tell us a little bit about
Providence's own Honest John reunion show, Bad Movies reunion show, and about 4 other bands. It's going to be a great time, great night, right by the beach in Nantasket Beach and Hull, the C Note. 21 plus, $8, 8 p.m., 7 p.m. actually.
Now, I have yet, shame on me, to get out to the C Note, but I know it's kind of like a waterfront area. Tell us a little bit about that venue. You've been doing a few shows down there lately, right?
I've been booking down there for close to 2 years. I'm trying to get more people to come from the city down there.
Yeah.
I had Dave Tree and his new band See This World last month with the Pine Killers, both from Boston. And the Moneys from the Western Mass, I think Springfield area.
Nice.
And my band Worm played. I'm trying to build up an audience down there for them. I mean, there used to be a lot of cool bands that came through Nantasket, Paradigm Park. I think the Ramones and the Clash played there in the 80s, in the 70s. So...
It's sad to see bands kind of lately and looking at some of the shows coming to the fall, kind of skipping over this area as they're out on tour.
Yeah, I mean, I saw Rancid last night in Brockton.
Yeah.
I haven't been to a show in Brockton in a long time.
Man, they asked me to do security for that, and I was thinking, like, I really should check this one out.
It was a great show.
That's what I'm hearing, too, with
Bonds
the...
and Souls, awesome set they opened. Jake Burns from the Stiff Little Fingers opened up on an acoustic set. And then the Dropkicks closed, of course.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure more people in the Boston area are there for Rancid than the Dropkicks.
They must. I was gonna say they must have tore the place down, but
they came out and did an encore with Lars and Tim from Rancid last
Wow.
night, which is cool. They played a bunch of cover songs, but.
So let's swing back to the music here on the Tony Jones Show. We'll talk more with Mike. We'll talk more with DJ Psycho Eddie. Coming up is back to the local music. Now, I don't know if you have ever noticed this before, DJ Psycho Eddie, but sometimes there'll be a band, and you probably have noticed it and have just been too nice to mention it. Sometimes you'll play a band on your show, and then magically they appear on the Tony Jones Show either the next week or a few weeks later, and that is because you've already done the hard work of ripping it onto our server, and now it's on the computer, and it's one less step for them to be on my playlist. So we're going to have a double shot of, and you know, one of my favorite local bands, and I haven't had a chance to play them yet, and I'm ashamed of that fact. So we're going to remedy that now with a double shot of Chained to Insanity. And this track is going to, this double shot is going to kick off with the track Drugs Don't Work. You heard it here on the Tony Jones Show, and recently you heard it on DJ Psycho Eddie's show.
One pill so I remain to think that I am sane, but I'm not sure anymore. One pill to get me up, one pill to bring me down, one helps me fill my cup. Pour me another round, I think I'm starting to feel again. Drugs don't work anymore, I can't get numb. The voices in my brain have refused to succumb. There's no escaping myself for the mess that I've made. Shakes me down to the core, and drugs don't work anymore. Look in the mirror and see reflecting back at me something old and weak, don't know who that could be. I better try back tomorrow. They used to line the halls waiting for my command. Now I'm climbing the walls without a single hand. Can't trust my own devices. Drugs don't work anymore, I can't get numb. The voices in my brain have refused to succumb. sad but true. I've been badly used, cut down and been abused, told I was a tragic bore, and dumped for being a raging whore. Maybe love is made for the weak, or am I just on a losing streak? My life forever blue. I've given up on finding a man. I've done everything I can. Seems I can't be loved. I've been badly used, cut down and been abused, told I was a tragic bore, and dumped for being a raging whore.
Tony Jones and the Cretin 3 were talking after practice the other day. Come out of 2 from Chain to Insanity. Unlove, the name of that one. Drugs Don't Work. The track I brought you into. 2 from Chained to Insanity. For the first time, unfortunately. But we'll remedy that right here on the Tony Jones Show. Tony Jones and the Cretin 3 were talking the other day after practice. And I want you guys to weigh in on this, because I can only assume that you have similar hilarious stories as 3 guys that come from the DIY mentality and, you know, just doing it and putting it out there. And we're talking about the crappiest cars we ever had. Now, I did pretty much the equivalent of like an East Coast tour in just this crappy, rusted out truck, and it was no fun because we'd play a show and then the truck would break down, and we'd play a show and then the truck would break down. I didn't budget any money for food, so we're eating at McDonald's the whole time. So the truck's breaking down. I have diarrhea from eating off of the easy on, easy off roads. But, you know, not having the money to tour, we didn't let that stop us. And that actually wasn't the crappiest car I ever had. The crappiest car I ever had was a Chrysler LeBaron convertible. And actually, our own Chuckles the Clown was with me at the time. And the latches for the convertible didn't quite latch right. So if you got over a certain speed, say it was 66, you know, when you went from 65 to 66, those latches would buckle in, and that top would go flying up. And, of course, I learned that the hard way. So we're heading down the highway, and all of a sudden, whoosh, and that is the top of the Chrysler LeBaron flying up, and then, you know, eventually going down and going back up. But, you know, I've had some crappy cars. Now, part of that was because I'm cheap, but part of that at the time was because I was putting time into music and I didn't have the disposable income for a decent vehicle. So I want to pose it here to DJ Psycho Eddie and to Mike Worm. What is the crappiest mode of transportation that you've had? And I could see the look on the face that you guys actually have to pick from what was the crappiest.
Well, right now for me, it's actually a very close toss-up between 2, because I had a Nissan 200SX, which was so small I had to keep the sunroof open because my head would pop out of the top.
Yabba dabba doo!
Or a 1978 Ford Granada was green, but the red primer was coming through, so we nicknamed it the Bloody Snot. It reeked of wet dog. And I think the first day I had it, it snowed, and I went headlong into a telephone pole, and I never fixed it.
Now, I can't remember if it was you or somebody else. It might have been George Garner, but didn't you have an issue with the rusted Crown Vic
No.
And that wasn't you? Oh.
No, the only story I have with a rusted Crown Vic was a very large girl sat in the seat and pulled the bolts that hold the seat through the floor, and she almost took out my friend's legs.
Oh, wow.
What about you, Mike? As a DIYer, I assume you've had some crappy
It's a
cars.
toss-up for me, too. A 91 Ford Explorer that every time you stopped at a red light, it looked like it was humping the road. I just go back and forth. I drove it to about 230,000 miles.
Wow.
And then it was all done. I had to put sheet metal on the to cover up the rust to pass the inspection for a couple of years.
I almost got in trouble at inspection for my my Nissan. The floors all rusted out and busted out. So instead of spending money on sheet metal, I would steal street signs.
That's awesome.
However,
That's DIY.
However, when they put it up on the lift to do the inspection, and you're at a garage, they're doing a state inspection, and you could see the stop right across the floor. They're like, "Excuse me, where'd you get that?" Oh, hold on a second. You get the undercoating just to cover the words.
Not too long ago, actually. No, just maybe 10 years back, I had because we were playing a lot. I had a station wagon so we could fit all the equipment in there, and then the four of us could sit in there. So it was almost like the equivalent of a tour van, but it was a station wagon. It had the wood paneling down the side. It had the rumble seat so one person could face backwards. And the reason that I got a good deal on it is because it ran fine, but it didn't go in reverse. So I had to be very, very careful of where I parked because I couldn't back up. I can only go forward. So we were downtown, not too far from Club Hell, right on Richmond Street, and I parked in an area where there was no parking behind me, so I knew I wouldn't be able to back up. And of course, somebody parks there illegally, so we all have to get out of the car, jack the wheel, push the car back. We had to push a 3-point turn to get out of that spot because I couldn't back up, and someone was parked right up on me. So
it's amazing the number loading your car with full of equipment will do on your car.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm just amazed I haven't died from carbon monoxide poisoning in most of my vehicles. Up until within the last 10 to 15 years, I have had the most ungodly string of beaters. You can't even imagine. Oh, my God. Wow.
And that's, this is us suffering for our art. I want you to know it's just not that we're cheap or poor or we didn't grow up with a silver spoon up our butt. It's because we're suffering for our art.
You can get a nice car, and in a couple of years after playing a ton of shows, it won't be so nice.
I could spend $9,000 on sound, or I can spend $9,000 on a car. Yeah. I go for the sound.
With sound.
I want to head back to the music now. Quite a enthusiastic punk rock block. I feel that I have on tap for you. Now, if you join DJ Psycho, Eddie, and I at the New England Cawhug Festival on August 27th, by the way, you can go to newenglandcawhugfestival.com. If you're not from Rhode Island, you may not know that Cawhug is spelled Quahog. If you join us there, you will not only find DJ Psycho Eddie on the ones and twos, as the kids say, but I was able to book this next guy. He's one of our favorites around here. We're going to hear from Jonee Earthquake up next for you.
Yeah.
One of the best.
Good friend.
This one, I feared for my life. You heard it here on The Tony Jones Show.
Well, it's a dangerous job, but the paycheck is great, and I fear for my life. There are people who rob, murder, and rape, and I fear for my life. This ain't no Andy Griffith, ain't no Barney Fire, but every flip phone looks like a knife. What will become of my kids and my wife if I should pay the price? I fear for my life. Well, the good and the bad all start to look the same. I feared for my life. drinking too much, walking dead. You gotta shoot those bastards in the head. It's better off them than me instead. That pays the final price. I feared for my life. Well, you never know what's behind that door. I feared for my life. So I sprayed her with bullets just to make sure. I feared for my life. I offered up my deepest regret. I should have gotten a reward, but I get disrespect. Then you start to hate the ones you're supposed to protect. I know I was right. I feared for my life. He was only a boy, but it looked like a gun, and I feared for my life. I said stop, he started to run, and I feared for my life. So I shot him in the back, and it fell to the ground and started crawling away. So I shot another round, started reaching for his heart. Was that some weapon that he found? The course would prove I was right. I feared for my life. Yeah, I feared for my life. The law was on my side, and I feared for my life.
chair, skin tight clothes. We want girls in the mosh pit. We want girls in the mosh pit. We want girls in the mosh pit. We want girls in the mosh pit.
Some Midnight Creeps right here on the Tony Jones Show. I hope you dug that little punk rock set, bringing me back to the days of spinning the early sets of Punk Rock 101 around town. We kicked things off with one of my favorites. Dare I say he is legendary, and he'll be at the New England Call Hug Festival in a few weeks' time here locally. We started that off with Johnny Earthquake, I Feared for My Life, the name of that one. Then we heard a little Worm, Girls in the Mosh Pit. Then we went into Bad Movies, the name of the band. Bad Movies, the name of the track. Then the Knockups, Shut Up, and you just heard the Midnight Creeps, Just Can't Get It Right. You heard it all here on the Tony Jones Show. As I looked at the clock, we are unfortunately starting to run out of time. DJ Psycho Eddie is here. Mike Worm is here. Mike Worm booking some solid nights around town here locally and up north a bit. But Mike, I assume you, like me, have a love-hate relationship with booking. So it is sometimes like herding cats. However, when you put together a solid show, it's worth it. And I'm sure you're like me, where there's some shows that come through where if you didn't book that night, it's not like another promoter would have taken it over. Like that night just wouldn't have happened.
Very true. It's a love-hate relationship.
I just had a situation where
it's a headache, but at the same point, you just got to do it.
Yeah. I had just recently had a situation where I put out the information and I said, please load in 1 hour before your set time. Now, the information had everybody's set times, and I said, please load in 1 hour before your set time. I cannot tell you how many bands emailed me back and said, what time is load in? Like, is it because I didn't do the math for you? We just got our first ever little thing from the club that says like what equipment they have, and not quite a rider, but for the first time ever in all my years of playing music, we just got like a stage sheet.
That's always a plus.
Yeah, I feel
when
like
bands don't have to bring shit. They're always pumped.
Yeah, especially if this particular club's in Newport, so the parking gets a little tricky, but.
There's been a good amount of shows going on down there.
Yes, Newport is, which for me is awesome. It's about 15, 20 minutes away from my house. And all of a sudden there's this huge rock and punk rock scene sprouting up in the yuppie capital of the East Coast in Newport. I mean, it's great to see. Actually, Johnny Earthquake came through not too long ago. Tell us, unfortunately, we're almost out of time, so tell us one more time about the show you have coming up.
So we got August 25th, Friday night at the C-Note, Nantasket Beach, 159 Nantasket Ave in Hull, Massachusetts, 7:30 p.m., $8, 21 plus. Bad Movies, Honest John reunion shows with Brain Dead from Plymouth, the Blue Liners from the North Shore, Sick Joke from Boston, and this new hardcore band called Mouth Breather from Lowell. It's going to be a great night, great time. Cheap drinks, punk rock.
And people can go to facebook.com/Wreckless Records, but make sure you spell it with Rec and Chords to find Mike's Wreckless Records.
Correct. And we got 2 flyers online. One Dan from Honest John did, and one Jeff from the Blue Liners did. So for all you artsy-fartsy people out there, they're pretty cool flyers.
Real physical, you can hold in your hand,
you can hold it in your hand, yep.
Flyers, you don't have to put it up on the screen.
You can find that on the Facebook event page, Wreckless Records.
Mike, thank you again. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, Tony.
Book some more Rhode Island shows. We always appreciate that. DJ Psycho Eddie, a pleasure as always.
As always.
And we're going to leave you here with a little bit from the Dust Ruffles to take you out of this week's Tony Jones Show. Don't forget to go to TonyJones.org, rifreeradio.org, Facebook.com/Tony Jones Show, on the almighty Twitter @TonyJonesNRI. Check us out live each and every week, but of course, don't forget you can access our podcast, which is constantly in the top 20 of United States nationwide musical podcasts, and I can't thank you all enough for the support. And again, don't forget to get us your music, TonyJones.org, click on the contact page, rifreeradio.org, click on the contact page if you'd like to be in studio or if you have tracks for us. We're constantly processing new music as it comes in fast and furious here at the studio. The Dust Ruffles now for you. Here's Romeo. Bye, everybody. Bye.
Adios.
Arise, we meet, and I can read your thoughts. I see where this is going, and know your thoughts. And I can see the lies and the truth and the pain. I can recognize It feels so right.